this online FDP program. So my topic is application of hydrodynamic modeling in water resource engineering. So before starting with the further discussion and further talk on the topic, I will divide my topic in three part. One is the application of hydrodynamic, second the modeling, and third water resource engineering. So how this modeling can be applied or how this modeling can be used for the in the field, or you can say in the water resource engineering, for carried out various kind of works like flood assessment, flood analysis, sediment transport capacity, then uniform flow computation, then evaluation of the flood, prediction of the flood, then the dam break analysis. So whatever the work which we are going to do or we can use using this hydrodynamic modeling specifically in the water resource field. As you see in my first slide, there is one image of a river. Now the main purpose of putting this image, the hydrodynamic model is directly connected with the river, or you can say a small stream, or you can say the sediment transport capacity, or you can say the uniform flow computation, dam break analysis. So whatever the work which we are going to carry out using this hydrodynamic model. Now in this particular talk, I am going to discuss with the one particular software, that is the HACRUS, that is Hydraulic Engineering Center River Analysis System, which is published by US Army Corporation of Engineers in 1995. So the basic things in which I am going to discuss over here, that is how one can carry out the flood analysis, how one can carry out the flood assessment, or how one can do the analysis like dam break analysis, or you can say in uniform flow computation, water quality modeling, or unsteady flow analysis or steady flow using such type of model. HACRUS is also one type of model which is known as a hydraulic, which is based on the hydraulic routing. As you all are aware that flood routing are of two types. One is the hydraulic routing and other is the hydrologic routing. So the case study which I am going to discuss over here, it is based on the hydraulic routing. Okay, so this is the outline of my presentation. So I will take one case study of Ambika River Reach, which is located near the Navsari city. Okay. So first I will go with the hydrodynamic model, that what hydrodynamic is. So hydrodynamic is nothing but it is the integration of various aspects of physical engineering as well as the computer science. Now as we all know, whenever we are going to use any kind of software, there are some equations which can help to analyze the problem, or you can say it can also compute with the help of some equations. So in the present topic also, there are certain equations like Saint-Venant equation, then continuity equation, then equation of momentum. So when we combine all then we are going to do the hydrodynamic model. So it is the integration of both the things. One is the physical engineering, physics engineering, and the computer science. And this model is based on conservation of mass and momentum and field and laboratory observation, which use and which can be applied on the movement of the floods. Now this model may be of 1D, maybe of 2D, or maybe of three-dimensional flow. Okay. Now what are the mathematical models and where it can be used? So mathematical models generally made of the if we talk about the watershed hydrology, they can be used for planning, design, and operation of the projects, for conserving the water and soil resources, and also to protect their quality. Before starting off my presentation, as I said that we can do number of works using such type of hydrodynamic model. Say for example flood analysis. Okay, then I also said that we can also do the water quality index. So if we take one case study of water quality index, what we want to means what we want from this particular analysis. So we can get the pH, we can get the value of that what is the quality of the water, like that. Okay. So in this particular software, this HACRUS software, one can easily find the water quality index, water quality modeling. Okay. Then afterwards, if we talk about the flood modeling. So in flood modeling, one can easily predict the flood for the near future. If I have the data of any particular river, say for example, right now I am going to discuss with you about the Navsari river. that is the Ambika river, which is located near the Navsari. So in that I have taken one small reach having something 35 to 40 cross sections, which I have to input in the particular software and using the peak discharge. Now why I have used the peak discharge? Because it is 1D steady flow analysis. If I proceed for 2D steady flow analysis, 1D unsteady flow analysis, then I have to use daily discharge data or hourly discharge data or 3 hour, 6 hour, like that. Okay, so if we talk about the steady flow data, then we have to just take the peak discharge, means peak discharge of that particular year. Say for example, if I consider for the Surat city, so in Surat in 2006 there is a flood of discharge 9.09 lakh cusack. It is almost 25,768 cumac. Okay. Similarly, in 1968, Surat city faced the flood of 15.15 lakh cusack discharge. So that is the peak discharge which we have to use for carried out the flood modeling, or you can say for prediction of the flood or assessment of the flood. Now, this mathematical model can be used on two scales, one at the field and second on the large scale. Now, what are the things which we can do on the field? So, the planning and designing of the soil conservation practices, then irrigation water management, wetland restoration, stream restoration, and water table management. And if we talk about the large scale, so the case study which I am going to discuss, that the flood that is on a large scale, because you have to take a one reach of a river, you have to enter the cross sectional data, you have to enter the longitudinal cross sectional data, you have to perform uniform flow computation, you have to perform the steady flow analysis, you have to also enter the boundary condition. So that I will discuss in my next slides. So this can be do on a large scale. Then rehabilitation of the aging dams, floodplain management, water quality evaluation, and water supply forecasting. Now, categories of the mathematical model. So it is categorized into three types. One is the type, second is the time factor, third is the treatment of data uncertainty and variability. So if we talk about the type, then there are two types. One is the empirical. Empirical type is based on data analysis. So you have to collect the data and just input it in the software or in the Excel sheet, you will get the output. Okay. Second is the mechanistic. Mechanistic means some mathematical description we have to apply based on the theory. Say for example, if we talk about the Saint-Venant equation. So in this Saint-Venant equation, we have to use equation of continuity as well as the equation of the, and based on that mechanism we can apply on the theory. Second type is the time factor. As I said that today I will discuss steady flow analysis. So steady flow is time dependent, independent. Okay, we can go for a static also, we can go for unsteady also, we can also go for a 1D, 2D unsteady. So it is totally time independent. If I talk about the steady flow, then in that the time is constant, discharge is also constant with respect to time. But if I go with the unsteady flow, then my discharge will vary with respect to the time. Okay, so that is about the steady and unsteady. And second time factor category is dynamic. So it describe or predict the system behavior over the time. Means in this particular category we can consider the unsteady flow analysis, because as the flow changes, the behavior of the cross section or the behavior of the flood modeling is also changed with respect to time. Because when I start flowing the water, say for example in the morning I will release the water something 50,000 cusack from the dam, so there will be some different behavior. If I release the water in noon, that is 2 p.m, say for example 60,000, then some other behavior. Okay, so it means it will change with respect to time. Okay, as you release water from the dam, it will give you some different types of behavior. And last is the treatment of data uncertainty and variability. As we all know, as we are the faculty members, also some of the students all are aware that the data collection is one of the most tedious work. Whenever we are going the data, we facing so many kind of issues. So it is not compulsory that we get all kind of data in proper manner. If we want data for the 50 years, so there are some missing data also. So for that, we have to approach such kind of uncertainty also and the variability. So in this there are two types, that is the deterministic and stochastic. Deterministic, we do not address the data variability, and in the stochastic we can go to we can address the variability as well as the uncertainty. So whenever we have some missing data, so what we are doing, we can just go with the interpolation, or we can just take the average of all others data and then we proceed further. Fine. Now these are some of the images of floods which occurred in the Navsari city because due to the Ambika river.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Sir, the PPT is not changing. It is posed at mathematical modeling. Now, okay, now it has changed.
Sir, it may be due to some network lagging. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Now it is okay. The images.
Yes, sir, it is visible now.
Okay, fine. So now these are some of the images of flood which is occurred in the Navsari city due to the Ambika river. Now why I have taken the case study of Navsari, as I am living in the Surat city and Surat faced 21 number times of flood. Then also I considered to talk on Navsari, because Navsari, this Ambika river is located at a low lying area, and Navsari itself is located at the low lying area. So whenever there is a heavy rainfall, in all the years, water means water will overtop the river walls, that is the retaining wall, and it will enter into the city, okay, as it is located in the low lying area. Same in the Surat city, when the flood occurred in 2006, at that time there is no any embankment, and in that I will give you two example. One of 2006 having 25,768 cumac, and second is 1968, okay, that is the 43,924 cumac. Okay, I will just ask you one question, that can you tell me in which year maximum loss occurred in the Surat city? Please write in the chat box. I am just writing the discharge. In 2006 it is 25,768 cumacs, and in 1968 it is 43,924 cumacs. Okay, can you please tell me in which year Surat city face maximum loss in about 2 years? Only 3, 4. I think we have something 98 participants, and 6 or 7. Please make the session interactive. 2006. Those who have answered 2006, I will just ask any one of the participants, just why 2006? Loss of life in 68. Due to unplanned development. Yes, so in 2006 there is a maximum loss of property, but in 1968 there is a maximum loss of life. But compared to 1968 flood, maximum loss occurred in 2006 flood, maximum loss. Okay, so those who have answered in the chat box 2006, it's correct. But if we talk about the loss of life, then loss of life, maximum loss of life occurred in 1968 flood. But in the case of property, if we talk about property, then it is in 2006. Now this is because of some unplanned development, unplanned operation at the dam site. Okay, so this is one just I am discussing. So proceed further. According to this study of hydrology, we all are aware that river is defined as a natural stream flow in a channel. It is not made by me or made by you. It is a natural stream which is flowing into the channel. Now you all are aware that channel is also of two types. One is a unline and other is a line. Fine. Now in this particular case study, it is a unline because the shape of the channel is uneven. And new stream which is should be dynamically stable and should have geomorphic properties. Now geomorphic properties means velocity, discharge, then the value of the particle means bed material, that which kind of bed material is. Why it is useful? Because to select the value of Manning's N, that is Manning's N rugosity coefficient. So N value can be selected or N value can be taken from the K. Subramanian book, but it is based on the bed material, that which kind of bed material it is, whether it is a coarse, whether it is a silt, whether it is a clay, whether it is a sand. Based on that particular material, we have to select or we have to choose the value of N for our modeling. Okay, so it should be dynamically stable and have all the geomorphic properties which are the characteristics of the natural stream. So if you consider any stream, say for example Narmada river, Vishwamitri river, or any river, these things should be constant. They must have, first thing is they should be dynamically stable, and second is geomorphic property. Geomorphic properties, lots of things should be there in the geomorphic property. In this, which kind of bed material it is, velocity, then discharge, then inflow, outflow, then whether it is a river meandering or not, because in some of the rivers, say for example in Surat city, there is a river meandering on the upstream, on the downstream of the Ukai dam. Okay, so if there is a river meandering, then there will be the losses like expansion or the contraction, whatever. Fine. So these all points to be considered for the geomorphic properties, and they should be hydraulically and ecologically compatible with the contiguous upstream and downstream stream reaches. Now, as we all know that lots of computer technology and the research in the numerical techniques is advanced, and as of now, due to the COVID pandemic situation, we all people are busy in our digital life. All are busy in the digital era, that works which we are doing in a physical manner, like gathering, then lectures. We all are delivering the lectures, we are doing the gathering using the digital platform. So day by day the technology is increased. We all are not aware about the Zoom, we are not aware about the Google Meet, Microsoft Team, like that, but nowadays we all are acquainted with this all this platform. Before this COVID-19 pandemic, we are acquainted with the technical softwares like say for example, if any from structure side, then STAP Pro, ETAP, STURDS, like that, SAP 2000, like that. If anybody from the civil side, then they are acquainted with the Hackers or Mike, or if they are from transportation, then the PAVE software, like that. But nowadays we all are acquainted with the Zoom software. So there is a rapid advancement in the computer technology. So similarly in the technical, if we talk about the technical thing, then in that also there is a rapid advances. Before few years back, say for example 20 to 25 years back, each and every person, means each and every engineer who is familiar with the hydraulic work, all are doing the work manually. Whatever I am discussing over here, all the works will be carried out by the corporation people manually. They are also doing, as of now, means till date, they are doing the survey in a manual manner. What survey, for what kind of survey? For cross section and the longitudinal sections. Means for cross sections, after 6 years they are going to revise. So for carried out the survey, they need the staff. One people is standing with the staff, other people is taking reading from the theodolite. Okay, so based on that they will get the number of readings. And in one cross section, I will show you one Excel sheet also. In one cross section there are more than 500 numbers of readings, and that readings you have to insert, or you have to take as an input in the Hacker software. Okay, so these all things you need for carried out the flood forecasting. You have to use, it can be used for the inundation mapping also. So this is the usefulness of the data, usefulness of the survey. But right now, if you are sitting at the home, okay, and just from the corporation, some people, means some of the person is going to call you that, sir, if we are releasing the water from the dam, this much amount of water we are planning to release, what will happen? Please check. So if you have software, if you have laptop, and you just enter the discharge data, so directly you will come to know that in which area, how much amount of water will going to overtop. They will also give you the depth, that how much depth it will overtop. Okay, so this is also one of the advantage if you have some knowledge about this particular software. So the authority will just give you the discharge data. Say for example, they will give you just put 14,000 cubic discharge. Okay, they want to release the water from the dam 14,000 cubic. So what you will do, you have to just enter the discharge data. Once you enter the discharge data and just enter the computation, you will come to know that which areas are inundated by the flood. Which areas are inundated by the flood. Okay, so the study mainly focuses only on the hydrodynamically model, which should be able to predict the flood levels in the lower part of the Ambika River Ridge for flood forecasting and protection measures in and around the Navsari city. Navsari city is located in a low-lying area. I will repeatedly will say like this, that Navsari is located in a low-lying area. So whenever there is a heavy rainfall, flood type situation is arise in the Navsari city. So what is the objective? To analyze the stability of a segment of a lower river reach by evaluating its capacity in response to discharge and the slope. This is about the study area. I am not going into depth. This is the Ambika River Basin. You can see this is the Ambika River Basin, and this is one gauging station, that is the Gadat. From Gadat, this is the gauging station. You will get all kind of data like discharge, like flow of the water, then the depth, flood levels, everything you will get from the Gadat station. Now, in the river Ambika, Gadat village and surrounding regions are underground with huge damage in the past due to the excess rainfall. Because of the low-lying area, this village, this Gadat village, facing the issue, and the nearby regions facing the issues underground with a huge damage. Okay. Now, how many floods? See, I told you that I have taken the small reach of 39 cross section, 1.17 kilometer long between the Ichhapur and the Damdacha village, which was taken for the study purpose. Major flood, that is 1981, 1994, 1997, 2004 and 2006. These are the flood events which takes place, but these, the red highlighted is the major flood which is occurred in the Ambika, this Navsari city. Now this is some of the photos of when the water released from the dam at that time. This is the see, the gates are open in the first image. Second, you can see the flow of water. Third, which is showing the pier at that, and the fourth image showing the level, how to, means we can come to know that what is the level of water, means depth of water. So this is the Google image of the study area which I have selected to for the analysis, that is the Ichhapur to Damdacha village, Damdacha, that is, this is Ichhapur is the upstream of the Ambika river and Damdacha is the downstream of the Ambika river. Okay, this is the river reach. This red line indicate the cross section. As I said in my previous slide, there are 39 number of cross sections. So if you can count, it may not be 39, but it is just for your example. This red line indicates the cross sections, and total there are 39 number of cross sections, and the distance between one cross section to another, it is 30 meter. One cross section to another, it is 30 meter. Okay. So total number of cross sections are 39. Then river reach length, already I told you, 1170 meters. Red line indicates the cross sections in the river reach. Yellow line indicates the central line. See, this is the central line of the river. So we come to know that this is the area where the river is, the river water is going to flow. Okay. Now see, in my study area, the last, after the last cross section, there is one bridge. So if I include that bridge in my study area, then I have to consider the effect of that also. Okay, one more study you will have to do for the once you enter, means once you extend your area, and if your area having one bridge which is located. See this in my study, after the last question there is one bridge. Okay, if I consider this in my study area, then I have to take the data of pier, I have to take the data of abutments, and I have to put that bridge in my cross section window of the HACRA, in the HACRA software. Okay, so what are the data collection? As I said, the data collection is the most important part. So if you want the field data means bad material data, or you can say the longitudinal cross sectional data. Okay, that you will get from the hydraulic department of your particular city. Now, for my study, I collected that type of that data from the hydraulic department of Navsari. Then detailed cross sections of river Ambika, showing the bed and the bank level at an average interval of 30 meter were collected from the irrigation colony, that is Navsari. So all data you will get in from the irrigation department only. Some data are not available, then you will get that data from corporation. Say in Surat city, we got the data from irrigation circle office also, and from also from the Surat municipal corporation. So if you are talking about the in your particular area, if you want data for your particular area, so you can visit the hydraulic department, you can also visit the corporation, so you will get the such kind of data. Now data related, what kind of data which you want? So one is the cross sectional data which shows the river reach. This type of cross sectional data you have. This is cross section number one. In this one cross section you have more than 500 numbers of reading. Okay, so that you have to enter in the software. So like same 39 number of cross means, say for example, if we take the average of 100 or 200 readings also, you have to enter about 4000 to 4500 readings in the software. Okay, so that is about the cross section. Now what is the use of longitudinal, and what is the difference between the cross sectional data and the longitudinal? See, this is the detailed longitudinal sections are collected from the irrigation department of Navsari irrigation colony. Now what is the difference between the cross sections and longitudinal? See, in the cross section you will get the cross sectional data. Cross sectional data means station and the elevation. As I said na ki one person is standing with the staff, and other person is taking the reading in the with the use of theodolite, and third person is noting down the, so that is for the cross section. And what about the longitudinal? In longitudinal you have each and every details, like if there is a retaining wall surrounding your river, then that data is also over there, because if there is a retaining wall in your particular study area, then the height of that particular portion will be more, because in cross section it is a natural, but if you construct the retaining wall up to a certain height, then your level of that particular portion will be increased by, if it is a 2-meter wall, then last your cross section will increase by 2 meter. Why 2 meter? Because there is a wall, retaining wall, which is constructed on the side of the bank. Okay, that's why you have to add 2 meter in the software also. So retaining wall data, or you can say the embankment data, or you can say the stone pitching data, you will get in the longitudinal cross section. So cross section is mainly used for the entering the cross sectional data in the software. Longitudinal section will give you the detail that where the wall is constructed, either on the side of the bank. Okay, and if it is constructed on the side of the bank, you will get how much it is raised the height, means what is the height of that wall, that also you will get detail in that particular longitudinal cross section. Then past flood data, it is collected from the flood cell of Navsari. See, it is written Navsari Drainage Division. If you won't be able to get the data from Navsari city or any other city, so you will get State Water Data Center Gandhinagar. Say for Gujarat, I can say it is a SWDC, that is State Water Data Center. You will get all kind of data related to the river, related to the rainfall, related to the temperature, related to the humidity, all kind of data you will get from the SWDC Gandhinagar. Okay, you will also get the data from CWC, Central Water Commissions. Now methodology, my methodology is divided into three parts. One is the hydraulic modeling, second is the uniform flow computation, and third is comparing the existing section with the computed section. Okay, now hydraulic modeling, I will show you the software, how it works. Uniform flow computation, how the analysis can be carried out using that software, means part A, and at the end, after doing this both the things, I will show you the comparison of existing and the computed sections. So first part, hydraulic modeling. As I said, I am going to use the HACRUS software that is developed by US Army Corporation of Engineers, Hydraulic Engineering Center River Analysis System, which is published in 1995, and the version, as you see in my slide, that is 4.0. First version is 4.0 and today it is 5.0.8. Give you some brief introduction about this software. When I had used the version of 4.0, at that time I have to use three type of software. One for flood analysis, second for DEM, digital elevation model. If won't be able to get the cross sectional data from any of the offices, then he or she can take the DEM from various websites like Bhuvan, then USGS, then Earth Explorer. Okay, so from that particular website you will get the tiles, you will prepare the DEM. Now for preparing the DEM you have to use two softwares, means any one of them. One is the ArcGIS and other is the QGIS. Okay, ArcGIS is a licensed software and QGIS is freely open source software. Similarly, this HACRUS is also freely available open source software. Fine. So if anybody want to go with this particular work for flood modeling or flood analysis or flood prediction or sediment transport capacity or water quality or uniform flow computation, 1D, 2D, unsteady, steady, then you can go with this particular software. It is freely open source. There are many other softwares like Mike 11, Mike 21, Mike Urban, Mike Flood, River Flow 2D, River Flow 3D. These, then Hydrus 2D, these all are the various kind of software which can be used for this particular flood modeling. But Mike is a licensed software, is one package. If you go for a only for the flood, then it costs 5 lakh. But compared to that, we can go for this HACRUS. It is freely open source software. You will get from that website also. These are the modeling system in which one can carry out so many things using such kind of software. 1D, graphical user interface, steady, unsteady, then bridges, culvert. What are the new features? So new feature 5.0.8 will give you all the things together. You don't have to go for another software like QGIS or ArcGIS. Just you have to take DEM from the website and just import that DEM into the HACRUS software. You will be able to carry out the analysis work. No need to go for any other additional software. Only HACRUS will be now okay with that all kind of tools. It will give you the three-dimensional view also. It will also give you the graphical view also. Everything is added in the new recent version of the HACRUS. Recent version is 5.0.8. It is freely available on the HACRUS website. Now I will start with the HACRUS software, that how one can carry out the analysis. So this is the main screen of the HACRUS, that is the file edit. So if one have to start with the analytical data, if you have all kind of data, so you have to first start with the new project. So once I will click on the, I will just show you. So I have to go for by clicking on the file, and just when I click on the file, this kind of window will be there, that open project or save project. So when I select on the new project, it will ask me the name. So okay, now these are some of the program structure, that what is the meaning of that particular tab. Okay, so these all are the inputs and this will give us the outputs. Okay, now for my study I put these three input only, but as I said, you can also do water quality, you can also do sediment transport capacity. Okay, but for my study I have just used these three input: channel geometry, flow and boundary condition for each profile, and scour at the bridges. Scour at the bridges, if there is a bridge in my study area, then I have to consider. If not, then I don't have to go for bridges data. And these are the outputs. Once I enter the channel geometry, flow boundary condition, these many outputs we will get from this particular software. So you just see these are the tabs, what it indicates: cross section, profile, computed rating curve, 3D cross section. One can also carry out the flood frequency analysis also. Okay, and if you find any kind of error in 1D analysis, 2D analysis, or any other thing, you will get in this particular tabular form also, and the error menu also. So okay, so new project. Once I select on the new project, it will ask me to save the project in any of the name. Fine. Now once you do the process of that new project, it will ask you for unit selection. So there are two type of unit. One is the US customary, and second is the system international metric unit. So we have to select SI unit. Okay, once you select on the SI in window, it will change. See my cursor, this US customary unit will change to SI unit. Okay, now what kind of data you will have to enter for the analysis work? So first we talk about the geometric data. Okay, so what do you mean by geometric data? So the geometric data basically consists of the river reach data. Means what is the starting point of your river, what is the ending point of your river. Okay, in technical words, upstream and downstream. You have to mention the upstream of the river and the downstream of the river. If we consider the same thing, the software itself come to know that this is the river starting point, means upstream, and this is the river ending point, that is the downstream. Okay, and another data, left and the right bank station location. Now I have to inform in the software that where my starting point, means say for example, if my cross section starts data starts from one number and ending at 100, so I have to put 1 as a starting and 100 as an ending. Okay, I will show you in the next slide with a proper image. Okay, then afterwards, river reach length. What is the reach of what is the length of my reach? Okay, now length of my reach means one cross section to another, then 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4. Now in the present study, the distance between one cross section to another is 30 meter. So I have to enter 30 meter in the reach length section. Then energy loss coefficient. If you remember before 5 slides, as I said, if the river is river meandering, then I have to consider this energy loss coefficient. If no, then whatever the constant the software giving, that we have to consider for our analysis. But if say there is a minor loss related to the expansion or the contraction, then I have to consider the value of constant as per the river, which type of river it is, which type of meander it is. Based on that, I have to consider that particular value for expansion as well as the contraction. Next is the river reach length. Reach length is distance between cross sections, which I already discussed, that is 30 meter. Then afterwards, I have to proceed with the steady flow data. First analysis which we have to carry out, that is the steady flow data. Second analysis which we have to consider, that is the uniform flow computation. Okay, now why we are doing steady flow, why we are doing uniform flow? Steady flow analysis is carried out for that particular discharge, because in that we have to enter the flow profile, that which flow profile you want to go ahead with, that means by using which profile you have to carry out the analysis. Fine. So after preparing the river reach, entering all kind of geometric data, the flow analysis should be carried out. And to perform the steady flow analysis, enter the past flood event peak discharge data. As I shared one data sheet of the flood, see this all discharge are peak discharge: 11,000 cumac, 6,500 cumac, 3,200 cumac, 5,000 cumac, and 2,750 cumacs. So this is the peak discharge data which we have to enter in the steady flow data window. Okay, and last is the flood conveyance performance. Flood conveyance performance means it is indicated as a flow profile. Okay. Now this is the geometric data. Once I click the geometric data, it will show me this type of window. Okay. Once you will get this type of window, you have to click on river reach. When you select or when you click on the river reach option, okay, you will able to draw the river reach. Okay, I'm just going with the next slide. See this type of reach. So this is the first point, this is the second point. So this is the central line. See, this is the central line, and this 1 and 2 is the cross sections. Okay, I show you one Google image in which central line and the cross sections are there. Similarly, here also we have to draw the same thing. Now why we have to draw this thing? Because we have to inform the software that this is my river reach, this is my starting point 1, this is my ending point 2. Okay, and similarly I have to add one by one all the cross sections. Now this is one data sheet. As I said in my previous slide, that there is one data sheet in which you have more than 500 numbers of reading. See, in this particular slide you can see station, that is my position from where I am standing, and that is the elevation, means where I stand at that particular point. What is the elevation, what is the level that I have to write in this particular elevation section. So that is in meter. Okay, so 0, 10, 20, 30, 40, these all are the chainage. Okay, and this chainage you have to enter into the software. This data you will get from the this readily not available. It is in the, you will get the data in AutoCAD format. Okay, then from the AutoCAD you have to incorporate into the Excel sheet, or you can directly enter into the software. Okay, so this is the data sheet for the cross section. In cross section, two datas you have, that is, one is the station, means from where you are standing, and elevation means at that particular point what is the level, means what is the elevation, means RL, reduced level. So once you enter the data, this is the image of a window, the same cross sections image or the same section which I got from the Navsari irrigation department. And when I enter this data, the same image, the same thing I will get in the software. So if you have any kind of error, so you will come to know that in some of the in some data I did some typo mistake. Okay, maybe it is 1.11, and if you write minus 1.11, then it may happen that your the section will go downward type. Say in this particular image, see my cursor, there is a peak. Okay, so if some mistake I did in this particular chainage session, so it will go down. So I will come to know that some mistake is there in this particular chainage station. Okay, so the same image you will get in the software once you enter this all the data. Okay, now steady flow analysis. First part is over, that is the hydraulic modeling is over. Hydraulic modeling is over, that is the inputs of data in the software. Now we proceed with one analysis, that is the steady flow data analysis. In this steady flow data analysis, we will going to do two things. One is the steady flow, and other is the uniform flow computation also. Okay, now in steady flow data window, I will directly show you the window that how one can do the analysis. So you will get the idea. See, two things you have to enter. One is the flow profile, and second the boundary conditions. Okay, so in the first window, you can see in the first image, if you see, so it is mentioned river Ambika, reach is the lower reach. Okay, then afterwards RS means river station 359. Now the river station name will be different. In some station it will be like CS1, that is cross section 1. In some station it will be like only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 like that. Okay, number you can give as per your choice. Then PF means flow profile. Flow profile 1, flow profile 2, flow profile 3, flow profile 4, then 5. I told you that I consider 5 flow profiles. Okay, now how many number of profiles you can go using such software? You can go with flow profile using this software. See, it is written, enter or edit the number of profile. 32,000 maximum means at a one time you can consider 32,000 flood event peak discharge for analysis. Means if you are sitting at a home and if you have number of peak discharge or number of flood events, you can enter as many as you can up to 32,000. Okay, so in my study I had used 5 numbers, so I put just 5, so it will create this column. Okay, so this is the first part to enter the flow profile. Okay, now next part is boundary condition. Boundary condition plays a major role for this analysis. In boundary condition you will get 4 options. Number 1, known water surface elevation. Number 2, critical depth. Number 3, normal depth. And 4th is the rating curve. Known water surface. If in any river, if you are aware that this is my known water surface elevation, if it exceeds, then there will be the situation of the flood. So that is one. Huh. So if I select known water surface elevation, I have to put the value of water surface elevation. So once my analysis reach to that limit, it will show that my cross section get overtop. My cross section get overtop. So if get overtop, I can suggest that whether to construct a retaining wall, whether to go for a embankment, or you can go for a stone pitching. Second is the critical depth. In this you have to enter the critical depth. Second is the critical depth. Now after completing the analysis, in the HACRUS there is one tool which is known as RAS Mapper. So in the RAS Mapper window, if you carried out the analysis, you just have to click on that flood event. It will show you the depth. So if you enter the critical depth, if you are aware, if you have the data of critical depth of that particular river or of that particular region, once you enter, so it will show you that how much area is inundated with different colors. Okay, so you will get the data, you will get the idea that this much amount of area, this much area is inundated with a depth of this. Third is the normal depth. Normal depth is nothing but it is a slope. You have to enter the bed slope of a river. And fourth is the rating curve. Rating curve is the graphical presentation of discharge versus time. So you have to enter the discharge versus means time and discharge. But in this particular case, 1D steady flow analysis, rating curve is not applicable. Why? Because we are using the peak discharge. If we go for a unsteady flow, it means unsteady flow means hourly discharge data, daily discharge data, okay, or monthly discharge data. Then we can go for a rating curve, because rating curve can give you the graphical view of discharge versus time. Okay, so in this study I had selected normal depth because I am not aware about water surface elevation, I am not aware about the critical depth, I am new for that particular region. So what I did, I take the normal depth. Now in normal depth I have to enter the value of slope. Now how you will find out the slope? So in mathematics we all are aware y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. Now what is y2? What is y1? What is x2? What is x1? We are not aware. So y2 minus y1 is the value of first cross section. Y2 is maximum of first cross section. Y1 is minimum of that first cross section, divided by x2 minus x1. X2 means maximum of last cross section and x1 is minimum of last cross section. So if you do this, you will get the value of slope that you have to enter in this window, that is the boundary condition. Fine. So this is about the and that boundary condition will be you have to take in the downstream side. Why downstream side? Because my water flow in the direction from upstream to downstream. That's why I have to put the boundary condition in the downstream. If I go with the unsteady flow analysis, then two boundary condition I have to take, one on the upstream side and second on the downstream side. On the upstream side, I have to consider the flow hydrograph. Why flow hydrograph? Because water is flowing from the dam, from upstream side. Okay, from the upstream side. So in that, I have to enter the data of discharge versus time. Okay, so I hope you will understand this concept, and on the downstream, normal depth is okay. So once I did all the things, I have to just click on OK, then file, save it, and just go to the main window. I will show you this main window. Click on the run, and in that run, you have to select the steady flow, run steady flow analysis. Once you click on that, this type of So once you click on the run steady flow analysis, this type of window will appear on your screen. You just have to click on compute. Once you compute the click on the compute option, it will do the analysis, and this type of window will be analysis is completed. Your first analysis is completed. Okay. Now part B, that is a uniform flow computation. Okay, so this is the steady flow analysis completed, which is including the hydraulic modeling. Now part B, uniform flow computation. I will go with the analysis part only. Now in uniform flow computation, the same thing which we have carried out in the previous in the steady flow data window, just you have to go with the another option. So in that I will just show you which option you have. See, you have to go to click on a view. Just click on view, and in that view you will have one option, that is hydraulic design function. See, this is the hydraulic design. So this type of window will be there in your on your screen, and once you have this thing, just click on type. Okay, once you click on type, you have four options. This, as I said, that you can do number of things using this software. So you can select breath cover, you can select uniform flow, stable channel design, sediment transport capacity, and this is the modified sediment transport capacity using numerical modeling. So this also you can do with the help of this particular software. But right now I have to carry out the flood modeling, so I have to select the uniform flow computation. Okay, now in this window only one data you have to enter, that is the discharge of that particular year which you want to do the analysis. Slope already it will get entered because you have decided in this particular steady flow. Then discharge, say for example 11,000 of one particular year, and when you enter that discharge, just click on apply and do the computation. Now right now you can just see there is some water in the cross section. So once you click on the compute, it will show you whether your cross section is overtop or not, whether the water is get overtop or not from that particular section. See, input the discharge of any particular year. Okay, and once you entered, just click on the compute option. Once you click on the compute option, it will show you whether your section is whether your section is overtop or not. Now I will explain this. See, this is one cross section. I had just insert the discharge of one particular year. Okay, now you just see on both the side it is overtop. Now just see on the my cursor, that is water surface elevation 4.72 meter. Now how one can say that it is overtop? You see in the window on first station it is 4.15. Okay, so from this reading it is observed that the once my software is computing, my level water surface elevation is 4.72. It is more than the existing, that is 4.15. Okay, so you can see on both the banks, this one left side and the right side, it is overtop. It is overtop. So it shows, the software will show whether your section is sufficient or not. If no, then at that particular section, accordingly retaining wall or embankment may be constructed for minimizing this flood which entering into the surrounding region or that city. Okay, so now these are the results of the number of cross section which used for the analysis purpose. 39 as I said, but I put some of the images only just as an example. So you just see in this 5 flood event, if you can see the image, blue, red, green, maroon and black. So 5 flow profile I have used. Blue indicates the flow profile number 1, red indicates flow profile number 2, green indicates flow profile number 3, maroon indicates flow profile number 4, and this grayish indicates the flow profile number 5. So this 5 flow profile you will get in only one particular cross section. Similarly, when you click next, you will get the same for another cross section. Okay, so you just have to input the discharge in the steady flow data window properly. If you enter the flow discharge properly in this particular window, you will be able to do the analysis in a very easy manner and you will get the result also in proper way. Okay, so this is the cross section number 1680, 1980, 2070. Now see, in each and every cross section, in some of the discharge it is sufficient, but in some of the if the discharge is more, then that cross section is not sufficient, it will get overtop. You just see the blue line. Okay, blue line is flow profile number 1, that is 11,000 cumac. See, flow profile number 1, that is 11,000 cumac. So in all the cross section for the discharge 11,000, all are overtop. See, all are over. See in this, this is my original. In this 1680, it is overtop in all the years of flood event. Okay, this is same for 2070, 2160. See, this is a real situation. I take this photo from from the Google news channel, that is TV9, when the flood occurred in the Navsari region. This type of situation. See, the whole this area is under flood inundated. Okay. What are the findings from this study? Now, before going with the findings, one can go with the structural and the non-structural measures. Structural, do the recommendation of to do the construction of a retaining wall, embankment, stone pitching. These all are categorized under the structural measure. Then alignment of the canal, means alignment of the channel. You can change the alignment, improve the carrying capacity of the river. So these all are the structural measure. Now what are the non-structural measures? Non-structural measure is flood zoning. You can divide the area into various zones. Now how you will decide the zone? The zone can be decided based on the level. Means if it is a low lying area, whether it is a moderate, whether it is a high, like that. Then flood warning system. Now in Navsari there is no any kind of flood warning system they have developed, but in Surat city they had developed the flood warning system. 1 minute. Okay, so in non-structural measure flood warning system, in Navsari city there is no any flood warning system developed by the means hydraulic department, but in Surat city they had developed the flood warning system at a certain level. If the water level is between 1 to 2 meter, then they will start the siren. Okay, if the water level increase from 3 to 4, then they will start the siren for 2 times for a long duration. And if the water level exceeds, and if there is a situation of the flood, then they will start the siren for a long duration. So based on that, flood warning system is also you can uh, develop. Then one more is the using this software, this modeling. So if you are sitting at the home and if anybody is going to inform you that please weather check whether my area is inundated or not, so you can just put the discharge data, cross sectional data, you will be able to get the idea that whether my area, whether my uh, this region is under flooding or not. Okay, so based on the above study, I just go with the findings that 5 profile are used for the steady flow analysis for the 39 number of cross sections. And as per the image, you will able to see that many number of cross sections are overtop on right side bank or the left side bank, or you can say on both the bank also. Okay, but as per my analysis, if the discharge is more than 6,250, the area may get flooded. As per my analysis, if I can show you the flood table, the flood event table. Yes, this means up to this 6,500 means if the water from the dam up to 2 lakh cusack, then it is okay, then there will be no problem in the Navsari city. But if it exceeds the 2 lakh, then the flooding situation will arise in the Navsari city. Okay, so this is about the some of the findings of my particular study on the Ambika river, Navsari region. So using this analysis, one can easily predict the possible effects of flood in the surrounding region of the study reach, and accordingly preventive measures can be taken. As I said that bank prevention like levees, bunds, embankment, raising the some in some of the rivers there is already natural embankment. Okay, but they are at very low height. So for that, what measures you have to take? Either to increase the height of the wall, means raising the level of the retaining wall, stone pitching, or the embankment. And by considering the past flood events, it is recommended to improve the carrying capacity. Right now, the carrying capacity of the Ambika river is 1.5 lakh cusack only. Okay, so if they improve the carrying capacity, so then also it can minimize the flood effects in and around surround the region of Navsari city. And area is highly affected by the flood, and it is necessary to develop the flood reduction plan also. And we, as we all know, that we have to prepare this flood reduction means action plan, that how to reduce the flood effects, how to minimize the flood effects, what are the measures we have to consider for this particular means study or minimizing the flood. And where the water get overtops, we should suggest that either to increase the bank of the means height of the retaining wall. These are the references which I have used for my study. Thank you for listening me. Now if you have any questions, then we can go with some question answer sessions.